So Scott, would you like to tell us how you and I first met and where we met?
Yeah, I can remember it was double RSL.
Rightio. So Scott, when you first saw me at the gym, um, what was your first sort of impression?
Ooh. When I saw Rod at the gym 2 years ago, my first impressions was, well, at the time, he had long hair, a bit of a beard on him.
Mhm.
Um, but he was sitting in the corner, I remember, just keeping himself to himself. You occasionally see him lifting dumbbell weights or hit the bag, but that was about it, really. There wasn't really too much else to say. Um, but then over time, as I was more going to the gym, or if I'd see Rod out and about, you bump into someone, you do hello and get to speak to them a bit.
Mhm.
Then there was one day, I remember when we were in the gym, I was in the gym, and here he was doing pull-ups with his wheelchair attached to him.
And so, what were your thoughts when you saw me doing that?
Uh, when I saw you doing the pull-ups in your wheelchair, um, I know you probably get people, that have done it, but I'd never actually seen it actually face to face. I'd never actually seen it real. And I remember when I saw you, you repped out about 3 or 4 reps in your wheelchair, and I think I was pretty impressed. And I remember it kind of went from there really. We ended up talking, and you were telling me all about with your life there in Kula and when you were moving through the double, and I was telling you that obviously with my background being Scottish, and I came to Australia a few years back just to really come out, play rugby. If I could start a new life out here, if I could, obviously in the long run, if I could stay here, it'd be great.
Mhm.
And we both kind of spoke about goals that we had. I remember, that I obviously, want to, if I could help my family out over here, in any way possible, I would. And I remember you always used to tell me there that you was motivational talking, motivational coaching you wanted to get into, and I remember it just really went from there. We started training in the gym, and
Yep.
then of course when you'd look up. I remember when I saw a YouTube video of the guy Arthur Booman, and
Mhm.
I remember it was incredible, just this motivational video. And I remember obviously there, when you said you want to do motivational talking, coaching, I remember, I think it was both of us kind of had the idea, well, we could, easily do a video, no
Yep.
problem. Obviously there would be stuff that you'd be limited to do, but,
Mhm.
like anything, we would try and find a way around it. But I remember, whether it be God's plans, life's plans, whatever, I can still remember the day when we were getting the video. I remember it was on a Sunday. I remember we were both excited about it.
The camera, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
We went into the town on the Sunday. Um, I remember your mum thinking everything's going to be shut. What's the point going in?
Mhm.
I remember we went to Target, straight to the counter. Got to the counter there. Camera and everything that we all needed was about under $100.
Mhm.
So it kind of did feel that everything was pointing in the right direction.
It was 300 reduced to 50. I seem to remember.
Yeah, well that's right. Yeah, and I remember it was spot on. And I remember when we went from there, we started training in the gym, upstairs and downstairs. I remember we did some stuff outside, and it really went from there. And I remember a couple of months down the line, when you were starting to progress,
Mhm.
I can still remember the day when you were doing pull-ups just on your own. I can still remember the day when we attached the wheelchair to you, and again, you were just repping them out.
Mhm.
And I can still remember the day when I got really excited when we attached 10 kgs to your wheelchair,
Mhm.
and you started repping it out. Then started taking photos.
Mhm.
I remember you got the photos and you started putting stuff up on the internet. And
Mhm.
just from there, it really took off there with obviously the motivational video, the motivational background, obviously making headlines in the paper.
Mhm.
Obviously the column there and the Weekender about depression. Um, the double RSL obviously putting up your story up on their website and
Mhm.
also on the main wall there,
Yep.
which was pretty incredible.
And
Because
also, that was the most viewed thing that they've ever put on there, which I'm pretty proud of.
yeah, I mean you got to remember. I mean there's guys who have trained at that gym. Andrew Taylor, he's Australian cyclist. Rose Black as well. I mean she's
Mhm.
been competing very well in the bodybuilding.
Mhm.
Even the young boy Charlie Runciman, who's playing for St George Dragons in the NRL.
Yeah, I actually know him from school.
Yeah, I mean, there's even even Lisa's son Jacob Tratt there. He's playing Sydney FC down there in the A League in Sydney. So to be ranked alongside um, with some of those people, I mean, I think is a real a great achievement.
Mhm.
When you consider the hours of training that these people have put in, and
Mhm.
just how one day someone just decided to turn around and said, right, I'm going to beat depression and I'm going to do something with my life, and this is what I'm going to do.
Mhm.
Um, Again, from there, we got more obviously exposure. Peter Gibbs, who's runs the police cadets in the town,
Mhm.
he's had Rod there, wanting to do motivational speaking with some of his cadets. Um, yeah, and obviously from there, I remember Peter Gibbs in the town who runs the police cadets,
Mhm.
the Aboriginal boy that comes into the double RSL. He got Rod there doing motivational speaking. I think a lot of the police cadets really kind of took it in.
Yeah, they did.
Also the scout groups as well in the town. But not only that, with Rod there, he's also got more involved there with the PCYC, with the wheelchair basketball, hoping to get the rep selection for country cannonballs when they play down in Sydney. Andrew McKay there, also with double RSL. He's been very keen to get Rod to be doing kayaking,
Mhm.
the charity kayak, I believe.
Mhm.
Um,
We haven't yet done that, but we will. We will.
yeah, we haven't yet done it, but we will.
Mhm.
But there's been a lot of changes in Rod's life and even mine as well. I remember one time, when I was 10 years back when I started doing community sports coaching. I think a lot of people, in this life, I think it's like with anything, you're either born with it or you're not born with it. I found even doing community sports coaching with disabled kids or handicapped kids, I thought, it was literally, I found it was one of my biggest fears. It was just something I wasn't able to do.
Mhm.
Being with someone like Rod and obviously going down with him to the PCYC when play with the kids there, wheelchair basketball, very accepting bunch of kids, nicest kids you would ever meet.
Yep.
It's one thing I realised that whatever I am in my life, whenever I'm with Rod, any problems, any stress that I have, it's just everything else is just turned out. And as I said before, with goals that we have in this life, obviously in the long run, if I get to stay here, great. But the one thing I can take comfort from is if I don't get to stay, it takes me back to about 10 years ago when I first started doing community sports coaching. And it doesn't matter whether you have able-bodied or disabled-bodied kids. Some can be good, some can be okay, and some can just be downright just the worst kind of kids you could possibly imagine.
Mhm.
And I remember I used to question my mentor at the time, with my old rugby coach and development officers, and also my father as well. There would be times there when I'd be going to some of these schools, and some of the teachers I just don't think even cared either. They just kind of saw these kids as just, they just do their time here. When
Yep.
they leave, they have no qualifications.
Yep.
They either go on the dole or they go to jail, and that's it. And that's
Mhm.
just, that's the circle of it. Which I do kind of feel that, that is wrong, because that's the system has decided just to give up on them. It's easier just
Mhm.
to walk away than do anything.
Bit better these days. A bit.
Maybe, well, you say the term a bit, but yeah,
Mhm.
very, very loosely a bit.
Mhm.
Um, but as I say there with my mentor, my old development officers, and even my father, is that one thing you can take comfort in this life
Mhm.
is if you can only change one person in this life
Mhm.
to go on and walk with kings and shake hands with the, the top dogs in this world,
Mhm.
then you can be satisfied and take heart that you've done your job. And that's
Yep.
all anyone can ever ask of you. Some people in this life are paid to do a job, may do it, but may not do very well. You get others who are asked maybe if they can help out and do a job, may not have the qualifications, may not have the best education, but yet, if they're willing to put the work in and do it, then that's all you can ask for.
Mhm.
That's all you can say. Where I go from here, who knows? Only time will tell. With rods, I can envision, whether it be God's plans, life's plans, there's going to be good things that are going to come from it. I truly believe that. Um, I suppose it was one of those things when I do say there that all those years back when I saw Rod in the gym, when slightly bit overweight, long hair, beard, you know, he, it's like his mother said, there was always that special person, there was always that boy in there, he just needed to be found. And I think over the last 6 months, I think he can turn around and be happy with where he is in his life.
Mhm.
And I can just see it growing and growing and growing. If you pardon the expression, I've always been told that in life to be successful, you've got to walk before you can run. And I'm strongly believing that Rod's now walking, and it won't be long before he starts running. Cheers.